Good day, ma'am. I am Glanji Balaba, BSHM 2B, and here is my report on Chapter 9 Organization of Personnel. Next, the objectives of personnel. The key objective of personnel is maintaining and being able to provide up to accurate personal data. This ensured optical and internal communication within the company. Next, what is organizational organization of personnel? Organization personnel means individuals who provide services to the organization or any of its subcontractors in connection with the administration of vaccination, whether as employees as assigned by organization to perform services required by the organization for the administration of vaccine for greater certainly. Organization personnel includes the end users. Next, the basic personnel problem. Personnel problem starts with people make poor decision about their personal behavior, rather because they are responsible of others' misbehavior. Next, increasing the efficiency of workers. There are a number of ways you can support employee development, from individual coaching to course to more intensive mentoring programmers through your company's website. There are six main factors involved. First, analysis of the job. Second, selection and testing of application. Third, induction and training. Fourth, supervision and personal actions in the work process. Providing an incentive together with wage administration. Last, cooperation between the labor and management. Analysis of the job. Job analysis is a family procedures designed to identify the content of a job in terms of activities involved in addition to the attribution or requirement necessities to perform those activities. Time study. Time study is a systematical technique of directly monitoring and timing human labor to determine how long it will take scheduled work to complete the task with performing at a specific level of performance. purpose of time study, as distinguished from motion analysis, is to determine the time required to perform each element in the operation, each operation in the job, and the job itself. There are reasons of time study. Next, selection and testing applicants. The selection of the persons best fitted to do work involves finding the source of desirable applicants, followed by interviewing, testing, and choosing from those available the ones who must nearly have the required applications. Next, source of application. The science and art of employment and recruiting is not as highly developed in the development in the Philippines as in industrial country. The fact that almost 10% of labor force is unemployed result in abundance of oversupply of laborers and certain types of personnel like lawyers. There is a serious shortage of management personnel, supervisors, and various types of skills workmen. Next, the selection procedure. This involves a sequence of functions adapted in a given case of purpose of ascertaining rather or not indicates possess a qualification called by a specific job. The qualification of position of job are considered when promotional possibilities are important. Next, selection. In order to identify the subset of candidates to whom job offers will be made, the process of assessing and evaluating job applicants is known as selection. Next, testing ability aptitude. In addition to factors considered in judging the applicants, it is desirable to find two other things. First, rather whether the applicant has any desired or tendency to disease which might separate among the other employees or which might interface with his own sooner or later. This done throughout a medical examination. Second, the applicant's present level of knowledge, ability, and intelligence with respect to the work. Contemplate this is done throughout tests. Personnel administration has come up with tests which look into the second requirement. 1. Intelligence. 2. Aptitude test. Third, vocational interest test. 4. Proficiency test. 5. Personality test. Intelligent, intelligent, intelligence tests are helpful but frequently give too much credit. More significant than a score of genius is the minimal mark required of the individuals as determined by elements that have a realistic likelihood or success. Apti- Attitude tests were no eliminated expectation occupational competences exist. Attitude tests is crucial. Such skills can be learned throughout educational and practical work experience. Property tests are designed to determine whether an applicant has a specific skills, ability, and skills required for position being considered. Propens- Propensity or ability tests determine the present attainment of applicant and his ability to do work. Next, induction and training. Induction is a process set of introduction new employees, introducing new employees and orienting him in the company as a whole. It is importance cannot be overemphasized that the happiness of a new employee and the effectiveness of his work depends upon the thoroughness with each with which induction is carried as for intenses in the new employees getting a good start. A simple employee were to work and making him acquainted with newbie employees. Next, purpose of induction. One of the purposes of onboarding is to provide new hires with information about the company and provide the new hires with information about the company and requirements of facilities provided to employees such as working hours, wage rate, paid days, absences, and tardiness requirements, vacation, and special facilities. Next, training procedure. When training, we should we should that we should that just telling a new hires to do their job often is not enough. The administration should be cleared, handled so that the worker can be easily understand and follow each step. On the one of the first things an instructor must learn is to be obtained with a train- trainee who is engaged to learn. An instructor with the statement if workers don't learn, instructors don't teach. Different steps in training. Number one, be sure that the new employees understands what you have in mind. Number two, Show him carefully what you want to be done, using patience, going into details, and explaining the importance of each step. 3. Have him watch someone perform the work and let him ask questions. 4. Review the instructions. 5. Let him practice the work under direct supervision slowly at first. This is the time to correct false moves with patent explanation. Let him continue the practice until he has mastered and the correct method. 6. Review the instructions again. 7. Let him get more practice, gaining proficiency constantly until his outcome approach the standard set of work. Next, training may be on the job. This type of training is basically a supervisor job. In some cases, other experience work can be provided training, but this has the back a drawback of ferry, ferrying him ferrying them from work. Training can also be conducted by detection instruction. Training may be an apprenticeship and formal and established products includes acquisition, lectures, and classroom training. In some cases, the company may send these employees to technical col- colleges and vocational schools from trainings. Next, internship training. This is joint training program in which schools and companies collaboration after completing her 3 to 9 months of study at a regular school. The selected student will work in the office or specific period of time until the course is finished and the student is ready to accept regular employment. Training usually carried out in conjunction with highly qualified vocational training. Next, learner training. During a heavy demand for the short supply of skilled labor, industries is faced with tasks of training green hands of learners. The learners usually receive a program of education and training. This is necessary because the learner come into industries without the demand of industrial knowledge. Supervision. The process of supervision is to help workers make the most of their time and efforts. It essentially guides activity and helps develop employees. The supervisor job is it is to make sure that the work gets done closest to the real work. He should know as much as possible about job, but the leadership skill is effectiveness in getting others to do good work and his effectiveness in acting as a bridge of workers and managers to problems and conflicts. Providing an intense incentive. An incentive is a st- stimulus to action. It affords strong encouragement to a objective. It involves lies in the fact that no one generally does anything without an incentive. People will usually carry on as far as they think worthwhile and, and then stop, unless a future indicates a present. The selection of the most effective of combination of is required the study of all circumstances. If financial indicates if is chosen such as a reward in the form of additional money payments, the effort is to be maintained that the reward be definitely tied up with efforts. Wage, wage administration. It is an international part of job of RH management. Wage can be paid on the hourly basis. Wage are paid according to the number of hours or days work. Salary can be paid monthly. Payments can be all throughout. Management has primary responsibility for payroll management. HR administrators are involved setting payroll policies. Next, other incentives. Certain employees' privileges and fringe benefit are intended to serve both as intensive and also as structure of labor and management cooperation. They should grow out of the normal work situation and as far as practicable be actively participated in the employees themselves.
That's all, ma'am. And once again, I am Glenn Gibalaba, BSHM 2B.